Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening. I know I have a lot of Australia viewers, so it would be evening, very late evening where you are by the time this gets uploaded. I wanted to just say welcome to the channel, and also thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for joining in, for tuning in, for viewing the videos, for supporting each other. Thank you to my moderators for keeping the channel clean, so to speak. Nice, clean, positive, uplifting energy. And thank you to everyone who just continues to grow and thrive on this journey, right alongside me, right alongside each other. As I always state, if you're new to the channel, a great big welcome. We are a community here. We are a family. We're brothers and sisters. We hold each other up. We support each other, and we're rowing the boats. And so is Charlie. This is my kitty, Charlie. And we're rowing the boats right alongside each other. So nobody's ahead, nobody's behind. Nobody will be left behind. So no matter where you are in the journey, whether you're in separation or no communication, or whether you are, in communication or in some form of reunion, just understand that it's not a punishment and that everyone will get to where they need to be eventually. So there's a phrase that says it will all be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And that's been a very comforting reassurance for me at various points just on my human journey. So I'm actually feeling very detached from my journey at the moment, and I'm doing a lot in the 3D right now. So I've got a lot of personal readings I'm working on, as you guys know, and I have just a lot of stuff going on with family. I have birthdays coming up, nothing bad. Birthdays coming up. I'm working on my own healing, my hypnotherapy program, and some traveling this month. So most of it actually for school, but at the end of the month it'll be for pleasure. And I just wanted to really state that it's okay to live in the 3D for a little while, guys. It's okay to take a break from the journey. It's okay not to be meditating every day or speaking in 5D communication with your twin every day. It's okay to have a break or to need a break. And I personally just feel like I need a break from even the 5D communication at the moment. Just to really refocus on my goals. So the divine feminine this year, before we get into our amazing cards here, the divine feminine has been really focused on her autonomy, her independence, and on creating a life, a lot of feminines have gone into business for themselves this year. They've actually taken advantage of the situation out in the world. I'm not even going to give it any power, give it a name. And so the feminines have been really focused on themselves, focused on growth, focused on healing, really deep healing, inner child healing, childhood healing. Why do I have these patterns? Why do I choose these same people? Why? Getting to the root of it. And the masculines have been going through dark nights of soul, massive tower moments, one right after the other, like a domino effect. But what's happened is many of the masculines have just allowed the tower moments to happen and haven't actually, I'm not going to say they haven't made any changes, but the changes haven't appeared yet in the physical for a lot of the masculines. So it's creating frustration with the feminines. And I see this over and over and over again from the emails you guys send me, from the clients I work with for personal readings. It's clear that the masculines haven't necessarily, it's not that they haven't put forth the effort in the 3D, but maybe for some of them, it's that they're still going through so many changes that I feel like a lot of them have sort of just been paralyzed. It's like analysis paralysis. It's paralyzed with fear, paralyzed with insecurity. If I take this step, will my feminine be there? And the truth is that the feminine isn't giving the reassurance anymore to the masculine. This also, of course, applies to your inner masculine and feminine energies. So think about that. The masculine is the right side of the body for any aches and pains. That feminine is the left side of the body. So think about that for a minute. So when we focus so much on the physical aspect of the person, I'd really like to focus on the energies in this reading. I'd like to focus on your inner masculine, your inner feminine, because I'll tell you something, you can make more strides and create more forward movement in the physical aspect of this connection by working on your inner masculine and feminine than you ever could by trying to push or do something in the 3D. So let's make this about the energies that you can take to empower yourself to shift things forward in your life. That was a tongue twister. Trying to say too much at once as usual. I swear I don't have any Gemini in my chart, like none. You would think I do, right? In the gift of gab. Nope, none. So the feminine, I need to stop saying too. I've realized I do that a lot. I need to have another word instead of that. So the feminine is, we're just going to focus on, and if you're a masculine watching, this will be for your inner masculine, inner feminine energies as well. The masculine energy is not sure what to do at this time. Not yet, it's like they're preparing, the masculine energy is preparing to take action, but not yet confident in what that action will be or when. So that's what's driving the feminine crazy. I can't tell you how many times somebody asks me, when? It's like, I don't know. That is not for me to know. That is not for you to know, as frustrating as that is. And the more we focus on when, the more we just sort of, we like clutch. And we need to just like, I don't know when, and I love it. I don't know how, and I love it. I know why, but I don't know when, I don't know how. I don't know what, and I love it. So, all right, guys, let's get started. Enough of an introduction. 6 minutes, that's a long one. That's a long one for me. Sacred Rebels. We have the Halloween Oracle, and then, of course, my new fave, we have the Hero's Journey. Hero's Journey. So we're going to start with Sacred Rebels. You wonder why my videos are so long? It's because I have a 6-minute introduction. Minimum 3 minutes. Maximum 6 to 8. Okay, so let us just create a sphere of protection with the help of Archangel Michael around this channel, around everyone watching, around the cards, around this reading, around the energies, around myself, and around every single person who views this video, no matter when. It's a timeless reading. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, as always. For myself and any other reader out there, you are the master of your destiny. You're the one steering your own ship. So if what I say doesn't resonate, no worries. Leave it. Leave it at the door. Take what resonates. All right, so let's check in with the feminine energy. Feminine energy. And what I'd like to do is empower the feminine. So let's talk about empowering the feminine. How can we empower the feminine energy within? Heaven sent. So I feel like this card speaks of really allowing yourself to realize that this journey is divine. I feel like a lot of feminines are really super frustrated. It's like you've been hearing things are going to shift, things are going to change for so long, and we haven't necessarily seen the shift in the external world. We haven't necessarily seen the shift in the connection. We haven't even necessarily seen the shift in ourselves, although many of you have. Or what's happened is you have made the shift yourself in your own life and you haven't seen it yet reflected back to you by your divine counterpart or by the world. So I think the feminine's being reminded here that this is a heaven-sent connection. And this is definitely about her spiritual connection. So perhaps it's time to take a step back from, for some of you now, I'm deeply rooted in the 3D at this time. But I think for some people, the message here, okay, for the viewers is you may want to actually step out of the 3D and step more into your 5D if this is resonating, if that's something that you feel like you need to do at this time. There's an element of grace. There's an element of very much of the feminine, okay, in this message, but there's an element of grace. Understand that whatever you've prayed for, whatever you've wished for, it will always be answered by the divine. And I feel like for a lot of the heavens, that's interesting, for a lot of the heavens, For a lot of the feminines, you may be seeing 3-3 a lot, and this is the number of the card is 33. So that is significant. 3-3-3-3, or just threes in general. That may be significant to your connection if you're resonating with this. But in addition, don't forget your heart in all of this. So have you been abandoning your heart, divine feminine? Right? Have you just been trying to take care of everyone else at the expense of your own well-being and your heart? And it's like, for some of you, you've been too caught up in the 3D, and then that has caused you to sort of neglect your own heart. And what does your heart need? So this is about connecting back to that loving energy that is the divine, that knows exactly what we need, and also that knows exactly how it should come to us, even when we don't feel clear. So there's a force that's actively wanting to assist you in your life's journey, okay, and the next step that you take. And can you just surrender to that? You know, her eyes are closed, which indicates a sense of surrender, a sense of serenity, a sense of kind of shutting out the 3D and just tapping into that higher state of consciousness. And I feel like this card also says, you know, allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to receive the blessings. Allow yourself to receive the help that wants to find you. So this is for the divine feminine energy within all of us. Just allow yourself to sort of relax and take a deep breath and step back, and not feeling like you have to reciprocate at this time. And that includes in your divine connections. The perfection of your life. This could be for some of you out there who feel like everything has to be aligned perfectly before something can shift or before you can make a move. I feel like this is saying that appreciate that your life is in absolute perfection right now, as it is in the present moment. Excuse me. And that is what will create a shift in the physical world. So if you can appreciate that everything is already perfect, then you can create that external shift, right? That forward movement. So it is about appreciating, okay, this is where I am right now, and I don't need to think about where I need to be, where I want to be next. How about just appreciating exactly where I am now? And that all aspects of your life are in divine order. Like, what would that feel like if you could accept that? And what would it feel like if you could accept that there's a reason, that there's a higher order, that everything is happening, and that it's from a place of wholeness and love? And that even when something appears chaotic, or it appears wrong, or it appears that it's taking too long, or it appears just out of order, out of alignment, that it's actually everything is falling beautifully, divinely into place. So it's about trusting these cards very much. It's about trusting that there's a higher order. So a lot of feminines are going to be connecting to cosmic consciousness at this time, to that sense, that inner sense of oneness within, you know, the sense that we are connected to each other. We are connected not only to our counterparts, but to all of humanity. We are connected to the earth, to the animals, to nature. We're connected to the rhythms and cycles of life. We're connected to the moon cycles, right, as the feminine energy. So if you feel like things are stuck, which a lot of feminines are feeling at this time, this card's actually picking up on that level. If you feel like, you might even feel bored. Some feminines might even feel bored at this time, or just like denied, like you've been denied the love that you wish to receive. Like this perfect person came into your life and then you were just denied that person. They ghosted, they, you know, you went into separation. They refused to leave a karmic partner. They, you know, they refused to acknowledge the connection in some way. Then this is saying that no matter what appears to be in the physical, in the 3D world, remember it's an illusion, and remember that everything is actually pre-planned, predestined, preordained by both of your souls. You are not forgotten, and you haven't been looked over. Like, you haven't been forgotten by the divine. You haven't been forgotten by God. You haven't been forgotten by your counterpart. You haven't been forgotten by love. So I think this is such an important message for feminines to understand, because again, a lot of feminines are feeling at this time like they have been looked over. Like, what about me? I feel like the feminines are saying, what about me? Like, other people are getting, it doesn't even have to be necessarily your connection, but other people, things are happening, action is happening in other people's lives, and the feminines might feel like there's nothing happening yet, right? So it's like appreciating the connection, appreciating the divine order and cycles, divine timing of everything and every possible aspect of your life right now. There's a real sense of surrender that wants to come in for the feminines that I think some feminines are really resisting at this time. Let's check in with the masculine energy. So what is going on with the masculine energy at this time? Both within and without. What is going on with the masculine energy? Masculine energy is quiet. Very quiet. Very quiet, actually. Okay. So the masculines they're in a state of shock, perhaps denial at this time, okay? They're in a state of, they're being astounded by the senses, by their own senses. And they're being absolutely, they're in this state of just utter, it's almost like disbelief. You can see that their clairaudience is coming online, their clairsentience, their claircognizance, that everything is coming online, that, we have Archangel Metatron here with sacred geometry. Things are aligning in their life, but it feels like it's like the shock. It feels like things are chaotic, but things are actually aligning beautifully for the masculine energy. So your inner masculine energy also might feel as though things are like, what the hell's going on? Things are looking crazier and crazier. As we end 2020, I thought things would be more and more in order. And the divine wants to say that this is exactly how things are supposed to be happening. But the masculines feel a little overwhelmed. There's an overwhelm that's going on right now. They feel like, what actually is going on? And they don't know where to look, what to do, or it's almost like, again, analysis paralysis, where they're not sure, how do I take that first step forward? I mean, I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things I never did before. Masculines are going to be very suddenly awakened. I'm not saying they're not awake, but they're going to be further awakened. There's going to be a deepening of the awareness of this connection, a deepening. So this is also your own inner masculine where you've been holding back. Remember, guys, that if you're in some sort of a disconnect or separation in the physical plane from your divine masculine, that there is a part of you that you're separate from. There is a part of you that you're resisting. So I feel like this is speaking of that resistance that the masculine energy is feeling in regards to this connection. And in regards to, like, how do I move this forward? The divine masculine's like, I don't really know. I don't know what the next step should be. Nobody's there to tell him. The feminine sort of removed herself and allowing the masculine to take these steps on his or her own. So there's a lot of growth, new growth. Okay, shock of the new. There's new growth that's happening for the masculines, but it's almost like they feel excited and very uncomfortable and in fear, all like scared all at the same time. So they're sensing that things are about to shift. There's about to be a new way of being for them, and that it's going to be unconventional because, look, the next card to come up for the masculines is against the grain. They're starting to question big time the choices they've made. They're starting to question their reality, the reality that they've painted for themselves, the reality that they've created for themselves. They're starting to question, wait a minute, why did I always just agree? Why did I always just do things and out of complacency? Like, why did I allow other people to like be happy while I sat here sort of suffering? And why did I allow, it's my partner or my family member or whatever it might be, why did I allow them to have all that power in my own happiness? Like, I don't understand why I did that. So they're now going against the grain. They're now questioning everything. They're questioning everything. And I think that is so fantastic for the masculines because there's like a rumbling with these two cards for the masculines. Notice how the feminines, these two cards are just very similar energies. Well, for the masculines, these two cards are also very similar energies. So the masculines are questioning things in their life. They're questioning why things are the way they are. They're questioning, why can't things be different? Like, why does it have to be? Why is it this way? Why does it have to be this way? And to the chagrin of their partners and their families and their coworkers who are like, what, like, who are you? I thought, you were happy, you had the house and you had the family and you had this and you had that. Like, why are you complaining about your life? And the masculines are saying, but I just don't, this is not what I wanted. This is not, their soul is craving something much, much deeper than the superficial life that they've created for themselves based on money, based on success, for some of them based on fame. Some of your masculines are famous. And this is very much the energy of saying that whatever is outdated programming, outdated relationships is absolutely on its way out. So if you guys are having trouble believing this, these two cards should absolutely verify that for you, that everything that can't come into the new earth, and that's any of these karmic relationships, any kind of karmic relationship or karmic situation, a job, an outdated belief system, romantic relationship, a marriage, unhealthy habits, addictions, all of these things are karmic in nature. Okay, so it's not that a person is karmic in nature, but the relationship is karmic in nature. So let's not label a person as karmic. It's just sort of how everyone identifies, but it's actually the connection that's karmic. So masculine energy is being asked to really accept these changes with grace, just like the feminine is over here accepting what's going on with her with grace. The masculine's asked to these rumblings, the undercurrents, of their very being, like this shock that they're feeling that scares them but excites them at the same time. That's why they haven't maybe made a move forward yet. They're like, oh my God, like I can feel, it's almost like a volcano about to erupt. I can feel something shifting. Masculines, you're being asked to go with the flow and you're being asked to allow it to happen. Just allow. So this goes for you again in your inner masculine energy, and any changes that are happening in your life right now, just allow them to happen as gracefully as possible. Allow, your body to like absorb the shock. Allow your body to, trust that what is coming next is far, far better than whatever it is that you're leaving behind. So let's get union energy. Well, I mean, let's see. Oh, releasing allegiances, listening for truth. And interesting because look at here, in this card we have the seashell, being able, you can hear the ocean in a seashell. If you've never lived near the beach or if you've never been to the beach, it's really an incredible thing to experience. So I highly suggest it. You hear, like, they're hearing things, and he's listening, she's listening, the divine masculine, the energy within you, listening for the truth. What is the truth? No longer, allowing outside external influences. It's like going into a dark room, blocking out everything else, any influences, and allowing yourself to only hear the truth. So that's what the masculines are doing at this time, is they're sort of locking themselves away, even from the feminine. She may feel locked out of his life, okay, is what I'm hearing. But they're doing that so that they can hear, they can listen to their own soul, because they're so tired of even the feminine saying, do this, do that, or their karmic, relationship, or a family member, or religion, or whatever it is. They're tired. They just want to figure it out for themselves. So the masculines are deep, deep in this place of searching for their own truth, searching for who they are, searching for who they're becoming. Very, very powerful. They no longer wish to listen to anything outside of themselves. This has been coming up as a theme. So in the union energies here, because the feminines are also listening for truth, right? She's got her eyes closed here in both of these cards. What is the truth? What is the truth of this connection? So the feminine's having trouble right now. Some feminines are having trouble. Your faith has been on shaky ground. And a lot of feminines have, remarked to me, I'm walking away, or I'm just focusing on me, or, maybe this won't happen in this lifetime. So there's a lot of energies out there that, and none of them are wrong. There's no right or wrong. If someone were to come to me and say, I chose a soulmate, beautiful. Are you happy? Yes. Are you loved? Yes. Are you respected? Yes. Beautiful. That's your choice. That's your free will. Doesn't mean your masculine won't come back. It doesn't mean you won't end up with them. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But what it means is that you're allowing yourself to accept with grace the circumstances of your life, but you're also keeping yourself open, right, for the truth, keeping yourself open for change. But you know your truth. Only you know. So what is my truth? So both counterparts are listening intently, and really a sense of going within, but also having to separate from each other to do this, because it's almost like the masculine can't handle the chatter of the feminine, either in the 5D or the 3D. So if you've felt your masculine pull away in the 5D or 3D, it's because they just need space from you. And that's okay. And for the feminine, it's like sort of like shutting out the connection in a sense, temporarily. Like it's what she or he feels like, this is what I have to do to move forward and to really just get through the next, 2.5 months of 2020 until we feel that big shift in 2021. With releasing allegiances, I feel, this is a number 10, which reduces to 1. And interesting, because this is 9, 6 plus 3 is 9, and that's almost, 10 is the completion of a cycle, and then we have 10 here, but this also reduces to 1. So it's like a cycle is completing, and you're listening for the truth, the lessons in the cycle that's completed. And for the union energy here, releasing allegiances, we ask ourselves, well, what were my allegiances to, and why was I so loyal to that person? Why was I so loyal to that belief system, to that religion, to that culture, to that just way of being? Why was I so loyal? Maybe to friends or family members, like that part of myself, like why? So releasing the allegiances to things that don't serve you, and understanding that the friends we keep, right? The relationships, the connections we have say a lot about us. Guys, give me one. Charlie out. Hi, my love. He was looking at me so, not sadly, but he really wanted to go out on the porch. So, yeah, the feminine's looking and the masculine. It's like, why did I give so much of my life, my time, my energy, devotion to people, places, things, beliefs, experiences that weren't actually truly me, that didn't actually serve me? So this is, you see in this picture, this person really deeply allowing herself to be held by herself. This is what both twins are doing at this time, listening for your own truth. Like, okay, I'm deciding, stay please. I'm deciding, you see how they listen, that I don't want any external influences. I want to figure this out for myself. And I wish to know what's best for me, and I wish to love myself. So this is really beautiful to see this coming up in the union energy, because we know the feminines are capable of this, and the masculine energy is now suddenly becoming a little more softer, a little softer. There's a softening of the masculine energy. So there's a breaking away. This is a separation energy. So for those feminines or masculines who are in some sort of a karmic relationship or even a soulmate relationship for some of them, and they're choosing themselves. This is very much about I choose me. And before we can choose to be with another, we have to choose ourselves. So the masculines, the feminines, choosing themselves, and realize that they're realizing that just because I'm letting go of someone else doesn't mean I have to let go of myself or forget who I am. I actually get to now figure out who I am. So the masculines have to figure out, who am I without this person? Who am I without this belief system? Who am I without this foundation that's crumbled all around me in all of these tower moments? Who am I without the money in the bank? Who am I without the car, the sports car? Who am I without this job, without this company, without this home, this house? Who am I without this suit? A lot of the masculines are very successful, very successful. They're divine masculines. Who am I without all of that? Being stripped bare. You see, she's naked, being stripped bare to the bone. So this is exactly where the masculines need to be. And I feel like this is finally the tower moment that will actually bring the masculines to their knees. See, I need to write that down. Give me a second, because then I forget. I'm not great with labeling the videos. And I need to write that down. I worry about the labels, the title of the video so much. Does this accurately represent, like It's the Virgo North Node in me, perfectionism. So the masculines have been brought to their knees at this point in time, and there's the completion of many cycles, and their vibrational frequency, okay, the consciousness that they're operating in has changed. It's shifting. It's shifting. And so now they're finally able to hear themselves, their true selves, their sovereign being, authentic self. They really are. I mean, you see this. This is aloneness, not loneliness. This is the masculine learning how to be on their own. So feminines needing to step back, and this is why I feel like the energy for the feminines is so potent here, and the feminine is just really working on her or his life and realizing, oh, okay, this is just where I need to be right now. It doesn't mean your masculine doesn't love you. It doesn't mean you won't unite. It doesn't mean there won't be a reunion. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means this is where the energies are at this time. Things have really crumbled and things are shifting for the masculines. So any outdated aspect of their life is being removed. And they're learning to send it away with love, which is what you want, feminine. You don't want the masculine sending it away with anger. If they've already sort of processed the anger, now they're processing the grief and the sadness and the loss and really letting that part of their life go. Because they, for a long time, they attach their identities to that person, to that relationship, to that job, to that money, to that house, to that car, to the clothes on their back. They attach their identities to the wrong things, and then they realize, I'm hollow inside and I don't actually know who I am. So, and the feminines did this also, but the feminines have healed that from that part of their journey. They've been through that. Again, it's not the feminines, it's not being ahead or behind. It's just the way that the journey unfolds with the feminine going through that first, so then she can be the light for the masculine. Because the feminine energy, I'm not talking about men or women, the feminine energy is emotionally stronger, emotionally more viable, spiritually stronger. The masculine energy is physically more capable and stronger. This is not men or women. Let's not have that debate, please. This is, I totally believe in equality. This is just about the energies within all of us. We all have the energies. So this is just very much for the masculine energy. The feminines have released. I feel like this is definitely, even though this is in the union energy, a lot of this is the masculine energy within us, the masculine energy in the physical realm. Can the masculines learning to trust solitude and being on their own and being in their own space? And honestly, guys, I have to say it, for a lot of the masculines, I feel like they're in their own space now. So if they lived in a family home with the karmic partner, okay, I need to think of another word for that. With the partner, they are now on their own. They are now in an apartment. They are now in another house. They have moved out. So even if the separation or the divorce isn't final legally, they have moved. I know this sounds crazy, right, in the middle of a pandemic, but they had just had enough. They were forced to shift. There were so many tower moments and so many dark nights of the soul that a lot of these masculines they just had to literally, they just wanted to this. I had an email from one of our viewers, and I'm going to respect her privacy, of course, but she mentioned that her masculine reached out to her, and he said, I'm so, after a year of silence, and he said, I'm so over this year. I just want it to be over. This has been a horrible year, horrific year. Didn't go into detail because the masculines, are still learning to let go of the pride and the ego, but did say, this has been a terrible year. So the masculines have let go of so much, and they've realized it's been very painful for them. Whereas the feminine was so ready to let go of any outdated aspects of herself or himself. The feminine was like, let's do it. I fully surrender. The masculine held on and gripped, and the more they gripped, the more the universe fought back, and the more they fought back, the more the universe pushed them forwards into this energy of just, please stop clinging on to these things that don't serve you. Please let go. So the masculine learning to finally release things that don't serve them. But God, it's taken a long time, masculines. It's been a fight for the masculines, and I think they're just at a point where they're so exhausted that they are just surrendering. They're just surrendering. Wow, that got really deep. That's what I love about my readings. I'm allowed to say that, right? I do love my readings. Of course, I should love what I do. But I love it because I'm able to channel. Sometimes, at first I thought, oh, this is kind of like more, not superficial, but this isn't a deep reading. No, it got really deep with the cards that came up for the masculines and for the union. Very deep, very fast. Ooh, masculine energy in a place of regret, okay? In a place of regretting choices that they made. This is where they're going to have to go into self-forgiveness here in this place that they're in, this little nook that they've created for themselves, okay? This where they're separate from anyone and everything, any outside influences. Regret of how they steered the ship of their life, the decisions that they made that brought them to where they are, but also regret for not being able to be there for the feminine. I think they're finally seeing, this is very feminine energy. I think they're finally feeling, not just seeing, but feeling what the feminine went through. And they're like, oh, I get it. Wow, that was painful. The feminine was giving me love, and the feminine was wanting me in her life or his life, and I just couldn't do it. So there's a lot of regret the masculines are feeling. And it's interesting because I think a lot of the feminines feel like the masculines become a ghost. It's like the ghost of the past, because they've just poofed, vanished, ghosted. And of course they haven't really ghosted, I understand that, but that's what it feels like for the feminines. So the masculine appearing as a ghost is almost comical. It's like he's saying, yes, I know, I have been a ghost. I have been totally MIA, and I'm admitting that. And he regrets, or she regrets doing that, but it's sort of been a mode of self-protection for the masculines. You can see this is self-protection right here. I'm protecting myself. Okay, I'm loving myself. I'm allowing myself. I'm being very tender with myself, and I'm allowing myself to accept parts of myself that maybe I wasn't able to before. I feel like with midnight coming up for the masculines, the most magical hour of all, I feel like a lot is going on in the dark. You see these are very dark cards. There's some light here, solar plexus, right? The shift into your power. But I do feel like overall the energies are, it's like the masculine going to kind of like a cave. They're in a cave, and the man cave. It's a real thing. So they're still men, even though they're divine masculines, they're still men, or women, going into the cave of just, again, needing time out. It's like a time out from life, a time out from responsibility, a time out from everyone and everything. And the masculine energy, a lot is shifting at night, like a lot of insomnia, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of regret that's coming up in the nighttime that they're having to contend with. They sort of are at odds with themselves, but they're learning to be softer. There is a softening of the masculine energy. So if your masculine, I just said, if your masculine hasn't come forward yet, when they do come forward, expect an apology of some sort in their own way. It may not be an outright apology. You know your masculine best. Or just expect the masculine to explain that they've been in this space. So if they don't apologize, there's going to be an explaining. There's, revelations, right? The most magical hour. Revelations are happening for them at night when they're in their bed, they're trying to sleep, and spirit is like, nope, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep. What we're going to do is we're actually going to inundate you with signs and synchronicities and songs and conversations with your feminine. They're going over and over. This is like the energy of going over and over and over again, something in your head, just over and over. And dang it, I said again. Going over and over again in your head, and not needing to forgive themselves. Just that all goes back to self-forgiveness. For the feminines, we have jack-o'-lantern, protection. Feminines, look, you're leaving the light on, right? Leaving the light on for the masculine. So feminines are in a state of protection, self-protection, and protection of the union, protection of themselves. And for the feminines, they almost feel as though, I feel like the feminines are very close to source right now. Very close to source, like nature, right? Fairy energy here. Very close to the ascended masters at this time, you know, Buddha, Jesus. Very close to archangels, very close to their ancestors. The veil is getting thinner and thinner as we approach, of course, Halloween. And I keep on reminding you of that because it's the truth. The veil thins and gets closer and closer as we approach Halloween. And we're shedding so much of ourselves. I mean, just releasing those allegiances to people, places, things, belief systems that don't serve us. And the feminine is protected in the entire way. So this is also saying rejection is God's protection. So where you feel like you're being rejected, maybe rejected from a job, rejected from a client, rejected from a friend, rejected from family right now, rejected from your counterpart, it's a form of protection. And the feminines know this at a deep level, but sometimes we just need to be reminded. So this is your reminder, divine feminine, that you are being protected. Eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. So I don't see this as a physical death energy, although some of you, your masculines, have crossed over, so this would absolutely be applicable to you. And I see this as this is an eternal love. It's not going anywhere. So the feminines, it's like the protection of the eternal love. But remember that as the masculines are learning here with this releasing allegiances and listening for truth, remember that that love begins within. It begins and ends within. So the physical death, I feel like what they're referring to is the energy of the major arcana card of the death in Rebirth. I always associate the death card with also Rebirth, because you can't complete a cycle without starting another one unless it's an actual physical death. And even then you're starting a new cycle in another realm. So there's never just death. There's always a rebirth. There's a rebirth, a resurrection energy coming through. But first, the old version of this connection had to die. The old version of this connection had to go through a death and grieving process. And it doesn't mean the love isn't there. It doesn't mean the love has been protected the entire time. It doesn't mean the love isn't there. It means that the way in which you operated with your masculine, the way in which you communicated, the way in which you related to one another, that is what had to die. That aspect of the connection. Both of you, coming from a wounded place or coming from ego, that actually had to die so that a new form, a new version, I mean, you see two people here, the twins, two people, so that it can be resurrected. And then we have, oh yeah, look at this. Skull of flowers creating through the ashes, right? So these are two cards. I love it, what's happening in this reading, how the cards are just speaking to each other and so beautifully telling this beautiful story. And it's like there's a comma and then here we go. There's, the completion of the sentence, right? It's like we start the sentence, then there's a comma, then there's a completion. So speaking really beautifully with one another. So there's a creation, there's a birth. Look at all the vibrant colors here. Like we have some okay, it's a little murky here, it's a little dark, and look, we have these colors. We have the bright colors, the pink representing the heart chakra, the yellow representing the solar chakra, and some orange representing the resurrection of the sacral chakra, creativity, sensuality, the way in which you relate to your masculine, not so much lustful, but it's going to be so much love, like bursting with love at the seams, bursting with love, bursting with power, bursting with truth. And of course, some blue here for your throat chakra as well. Just creating. I think you're going to be so surprised at what is created out of the ashes, what had to die. I mean, you can see here, it's the story here. It had to happen this way. It absolutely had to happen, but there's magic and there's protection, okay, through all of this, and there's a resurrection of the love. So I'm going to end it there. This, of course, was much longer. I just looked and it was exactly 44 minutes. Much longer video than I anticipated. I do need to get back to my personal readings for you guys, and I send you so much love. I send you so much love on this journey. I hope this was helpful. This really actually helped me as well. It sort of uplifted me in my spirit. So I hope it's done the same for you. If it has, please drop a like, please subscribe, please leave a comment and share the videos, share the channel with others. This all helps the channel grow. It helps other people get the messages that they need to hear on their journey. Lots of love, guys, and I'll see you soon.